Hello neighbors. This week on Thursday we attended a water board meeting where the water board was presented with arguments about referring BBW sanitation or the sanitation issue to the Attorney General. As you may or may not know, the Fallen Leaf neighborhood and the Cal Fire Station are all on a private sewer system that's run by Big Basin Water. And it's been experiencing extensive problems with a lot of damage that's occurred since the fires, and they haven't been meeting the maintenance requirements or the water board's requirements as far as operating the station in quite some time. And because the non-compliance has been so egregious, the water board wants to refer them to the Attorney General so they have more tools in order to hold them accountable with and kind of drive them, and motivate them to make the necessary changes to get this sanitation system on board, operational, and working correctly for public safety. So the county sent out letters to our neighborhood ceasing any issuance of pre-clearance. Whether you had pre-clearance already or are moving towards occupancy, you're not going to be able to get you won't be able to receive your occupancy certificate with the way things are right now. So until this issue is solved, everyone in this neighborhood is in danger of not being able to move into their homes when they complete their homes, or even to start building their homes if they've bought a parcel. So, of course, this is extremely, extremely problematic, and it's a huge issue. Families here have been suffering for a long time and have worked very hard to try to get home. People are running out of rental money. They don't have the option to wait multiple months for this issue to be solved. Now, the Big Basin owners, they did not have an operator's permit for 10 years, so they weren't properly insured. The state and county knew this, and they didn't do anything to hold them accountable. And now they kind of want to leave us holding the bag here as they move forward towards solutions. Right now, the raw sewage is being pumped, or is supposed to be being pumped out of the tanks to keep it at a safe level. And unfortunately, that's not what has been happening. I know there has been some pumping, and I know Big Basin Water has made some efforts in that area, but it has not been enough. And the people from the water board have recorded copious amounts of raw sewage flowing directly into the earth, which is a huge problem because we have a waterway that feeds directly into Boulder Creek, which feeds directly into the San Lorenzo River. You don't want untreated sewage floating around in the water. Of course, that's a public health hazard. So the water board is taking this very seriously, which, of course, we want them to take it seriously. When we say that we want a solution, we don't want them to ignore the health hazards that are happening. We want them to sort these hazards out, but we want them to sort it out while also making concessions, making efforts to make sure that people can stay in their homes using alternative means. And there are alternatives out there. There are incinerating toilets, composting toilets, things that don't create sewage that people can use in the meantime while they wait for the system to be corrected and get into their homes and stay in their homes. It's unconscionable to consider any other solution, if I'm being frank. If we can't figure out a way to get people in their homes by regular pumping, right, by the sewer system coming online and working correctly, then these options have to be considered. Now, recently, Damian Moore reached out to Antonia and told her that the system is hooked up. PG&E has come out, it's got power, it's working again, and they're testing everything right now to see if it's going to be able to meet the requirements. So that part of the issue might move in the direction that we want and hope for, but we can't just go on words. Of course, we need them to pass those tests. We need communication with the community, and we need to make sure that this thing is running correctly so that the county can move forward as it should with making sure people get to their homes. And it's important that we keep that pressure on our representatives in the county. There again is a tendency to try to pass the buck around here and say we can't do X, Y, Z because the water board said this or because the state said that. But this is a disaster area, and when it comes right down to it, the county has the power to make good choices for us and to get people home. We're going to have a town hall meeting tomorrow at 5 p.m. Look for the Zoom link in the comments of this particular video. And on that video, we're going to discuss these issues related to the potential private acquisition of Big Basin Water, the attempts to move towards receivership, and basically what the positives and negatives are of the private option and of the government option. We're also going to be discussing the rate increase which we've covered some in previous videos, and there's been a lot of discussion about it. But the deadline to submit your either positive comments toward it or negative comments is on Monday at midnight. So definitely tune in on Sunday, get some more information so you can make an informed decision moving forward about this thing. Thank you very much. We'll get deep tomorrow at this meeting. We'll discuss in depth these issues with both the sewer system, the water system, and the potential rate increase. We'll talk about the public and private ownership options, what's happening there, and whether these things, or which of these things are going to be best for Big Basin Water customers and the communities that serve Big Basin.